Boom, how we doing over here?
Checking out the sound.
Oh, yes. Okay. I can put it there and inevitably knock it down on the way back. Actually, bring it down a little bit. Yeah, that'll come through real nice. All right, buddy.
That's why I took it out before we start.
Exactly. This is all in the prelude.
That's right. You might not see this.
It doesn't matter. So it is the 8th, I believe, of February.
That's right.
2021.
That's right.
And I'm here with Nolan Sharper, as always.
Hello.
It's funny, I think we introduced ourselves for the first one, and then we just forgot about it.
We just forgot about how to do that.
That's all good. So today, you want to talk about working out.
Yeah, man. Because it's something you've thought about for a while now.
Yeah, totally.
You've done it for a while now.
So what's your sort of history of working out, man?
Yeah, man. So I used to do karate when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then I did like a little bit of weight stuff when I was a teenager, not too much, and then I let it go in college, in secondary school or post-secondary school, and then I came back to it when I was in the States, and then we started training together when I came back to Toronto.
Yeah. So that's basically your whole history wrapped up there.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting interested in the I did a little bit of fencing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first circuit work where you're running around. And so what was it like in karate? What did they have you do?
It was cool. It's a bunch of different stuff. We did circuit work. We did cardio combat, which is basically the conditioning. We did a bunch of drills, basic kind of movements like push-ups and sit-ups. We did a bunch of stretching.
Mm-hmm.
And then also a lot of kind of, I guess you would say, sort of solid positioning work, or I forget the right term for it, but where you stay in a position for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Static.
Yeah, static work. Isometric
work. Yeah, with our stances and our legs in particular.
Oh, totally.
We do katas and stuff like that.
So you get used to being in that position.
Yeah, it hurts. But it's good. It's a good hurt.
Yeah, I'll bring you up. It's good for your tendons.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I started getting. I was sort of, as I went into university in the first year, that was my first of experience, sort of noticing that guys around me had totally different bodies from me, and I was really thin growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did a bit of karate, but it hadn't really involved strength or muscle work. Still pretty thin, but I was like, I don't really. I would like to look different, and I would like to be stronger.
Yeah.
I'd like to physically be able to do different things.
Yeah, man.
I remember just going out to the monkey bars and not being able to do the monkey bars.
Yeah.
Just being like, man, what's happened? When I was 8, I could do the monkey bars.
Right, exactly.
So that's what got me started. My first goal was just to enjoy working out.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first goal was? The first time you really made a goal and was like, I'm going to try and do this?
Yeah, man. I think what I really wanted to do was lose weight. I think that was my first goal. First kind of conscious goal where I really thought about it. Because the karate, the goals are all there for you already.
Yeah, you want to be better at karate.
You want to be better at karate. Yeah, exactly. And so the goals are internal to that. But I think where I really wanted to, when I let myself go, I got to a really unhealthy weight of 235, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too happy about that. So one of my goals was I wanted to lose all that weight.
Of course.
And I ended up losing all that weight, which was good. And I'm now kind of building it back up as muscle now, or trying to.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But, so then my first goal was just to enjoy what I was doing.
Just to have fun, right?
Because I wanted to be sort of a part of my life going forwards, and I figured the only way I was going to be able to pull that off is if I actually liked what I was doing.
Right.
So I tried tons of random different things. I did girl cardio workouts where they had them on the TV. Mm-hmm. I did just I lifted random amounts of weight. I didn't really have a very set schedule. I would just try and regularly go and just have fun and do something.
Right.
And that worked for just sort of getting to enjoy
Right.
working out. But at a certain point, I decided I wanted to. Okay, it's not a great way of making changes in your body composition, because you just doing random stuff.
Right.
So at a certain point, I decided I wanted to mix that up, and I wanted to actually figure out how to learn these different skills and how to actually move my body through space better.
Yeah.
So first I got interested in calisthenics because I'd really enjoyed. I'd tried a bunch of different stuff, including weightlifting.
Right.
And I really enjoyed progressive movements. So you've done some progressive movements by now. So like, tell me how you feel about working out that sort of way.
I like it because it's fun. It gives you a goal that you're working towards. You know, and even something as basic as, a push-up has all these different progressions that you can work towards to do more difficult or more impressive or, better or different push-ups, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of progressive training.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, totally. I feel the same way. And not only are you, it's the combination of having that inbuilt sort of set of little goals with also the learning factor. You when you're talking to other people, you kind of learn little new things that you can do.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
learn new movements. And,
exactly.
And you've talked to people working out, and you've gotten a couple of things out of it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's part of the fun too. If you and you sort of, once you get decent enough, you sort of know who to talk to, which is fun. Because a lot of people go out there and they don't really know what they're doing, but some people actually do go out there and know what they're doing, and then they offer you some really helpful tips or some exercises. So that's fun. Yeah.
A lot of that's just about like seeing guys who are just clearly on a scheme.
Yeah.
They're clearly they've got an idea about what it is they're set out to do.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, that really attracted me to that sort of work, and I just thought, in basic terms, just the ability to like put your hands down and lift your body off the ground, or, that sort of way of moving through space really appealed to me.
Definitely, a lot harder than people think.
Like doing something like an L sit for any amount of time is just difficult.
No, absolutely.
So that was what really excited me about calisthenics and about gymnastics training. I did a bunch of research and I started training it.
Right.
And about when we met up, that's what I was doing.
Right. That would have been 2018.
Exactly.
2018.
And I'm like hammering away on maximal strength work.
Yeah.
And I weigh somewhere around 145 pounds.
Yeah, you were really light back then.
I was very thin. It was all muscle, but I'm 6'2",
right?
So that's not much muscle on a 6'2" frame,
right?
And I was going and I was joining it, and I think I've told you this. I was talking to my grandfather.
Right.
We were at Christie Gardens. I talked to Neville. Step-grandfather or whatever. And he had done a lot of training when he was younger. Right. And he was like, how much do you weigh? 145 pounds?
No, oh, man.
You're 6'2", and he's like this big.
Yeah.
Well, roughly speaking. Yeah. He's not tall. And he's like, I was at your weight, if not heavier than you, when I was really trained up. Right. And that made me go, I probably at this point need to retool. Yeah. I need to sit down, and I need to do some serious bodybuilding work.
Yeah, absolutely. Build up.
So tell me about your experience with bodybuilding, man.
Yeah, man. So, I came with you for a couple times. I didn't do it seriously at this point, but you were at a gym, a famous gym in Toronto, probably the best bodybuilding gym in the city.
Yep.
Based on what they had there and based on the history of it.
Pretty amazing place.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So that was my first experience, kind of looking at bodybuilding and doing some of the movements. They were fun. I liked it. I think at this point I was sort of more just trying to concentrate on I think, what was I trying to do? I don't think I had the same goals as you did. I think I was trying to still do some of the strength movements. Like I was still trying to do a proper pull-up and stuff like that. And
you seem to be really experimenting at that point.
Yeah, I was still
easing into it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was new to me, that kind of world.
Yeah, the time at Oliphants was really good.
And you should say, like, what you did it for a year, right?
For a year.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. How often would you train?
To be totally honest, it was various.
Yeah, totally.
It was usually between 4 and 6 times a week.
Yeah.
The goal, I was basically copying the routine out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding book.
Yeah.
Because he's got like a similar build to me.
Yeah, he's a big guy
in terms
too.
of height.
He's about 6'2" as well. Yeah.
And you know, so much of what I've learned about physical fitness has just come down to having the discipline to show up at the gym every week, and then beyond that, there's fancy things that you can do.
Right.
But ultimately, if you show up, if you put in the work,
your body changes.
your body changes.
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, for professionals, I think it matters that you do it in the most optimal way.
Right.
But for amateurs, I think one of the most important things is just be engaged.
Yeah.
Be engaged, be excited, be enjoying what you're doing.
No, absolutely.
So I was engaged and excited about that. And that's what I wanted to show up and do. I had this great gym.
Yeah.
My times would move throughout the days.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was really, at that point, I didn't have a great schedule in terms of anything else.
Right.
And it was a real sort of linchpin in my days. I would show up.
Yeah.
And I would just, at a certain point in the day, it would be like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday was a really common 4-day.
Yeah. Yeah. Split.
And you just make sure that you show up at the gym at some point during those days and get that workout in.
And then you get that set in. Yeah, exactly. And you were doing like a whole body workout, right? So
it was like 2 hours in the gym.
Pretty much everything.
Each slot. I think it was partly clever, and there was no sort of rotating body parts between days. Oh no, I lied. So you rotated between sort of 2 trunk workouts.
Oh, okay.
So you did like half body and half body, but a lot of times I just did that all together.
You just put it all together, yeah.
And the other huge part of it all was, of course, just diet.
Yeah. Diet is another big part. Yeah,
you've been doing some diet stuff, so tell me about your experiences on the diet.
Yeah, man. So I'm doing the bodybuilding now for a year as well. I started in September, so we're about a third of the way in so far, and definitely been really good. The diet is by far what you need to stick to, and it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard if you haven't done that kind of dieting before. You have to eat a lot, especially on bodybuilding, and I'm a pretty big guy already, so I had to eat a lot more. Because going in, I weighed about 197, and now I weigh about 220. But so the diet is good. It's clean food. It's clean food. You really want to stick to it. You want to make sure that you're doing the workouts along with the diet. That's really key as well.
Yep.
Exactly. And then once you kind of get the diet down, I think I waited like a couple months to, maybe about 3 months until after the Christmas season. So from September to Christmas, just trying to get the diet down properly. And once I felt pretty good, then I felt like, okay, I can mess with it a little bit and change some of my goals with regards to it. Like take out a cup of rice here if I'm trying to lose, cut and get ripped versus trying to put on size and stuff like that.
Yeah. Once you have the discipline to actually eat the diet on a regular basis, that opens up a new world in terms of what you can do.
Exactly.
One of the things I remember you talking about was because you were finding it a real struggle at the beginning to eat that much food.
Yes.
And then you adapted.
Yes, that's right. It just kind of switched at one point,
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you realized that it wasn't a problem to eat this much.
No, exactly. It was just like, oh yeah, this is actually not that hard, Like I would have to, because you eat a lot of rice I'm doing a vegetarian bodybuilding diet too, so that you just have to eat different stuff with that. But I remember one thing that was really funny is I was trying to get all this rice down, so I would just drink gulps of water and then stuff rice in my mouth and swallow it down just to get it down.
You're living the bodybuilding experience.
Like,
eating until you almost feel ill and then doing anything to get rice into your body.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, exactly.
No, it was the same for me.
When you would do that, yeah.
And you start out and you're just like, Jesus, I cannot eat this much food.
Yeah.
and you stick your rice in the fridge, and then you pass it over, and you come back the next day and you finish it, and you're just never gonna. You just feel like you're never gonna reach that calorie total that you're aiming for.
Exactly.
And then at a certain point, it really is, in part I think it's a human perception thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't notice it until you do.
Yeah.
And you notice it, and all of a sudden it's like, man, where's my fucking rice?
Yeah, it's like, where's it at? I need this.
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
exactly. It's been 2 hours since my last meal.
Exactly.
And that works.
Yeah.
Once you feel that change, like I started at 145, and then I got stuck sort of at 175 for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Had to, get more consistent on the diet, and continue to work out, and just continue to do all the things I needed to do.
Right.
And at a certain point, I broke through that 175 barrier, and I made it all the way up to about 200, 210.
Right.
And then I went away for a month on holiday, and
Yeah.
I threw on an extra 10 pounds.
Yeah, you went to my weight now, 220.
To 220.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but man, I was too heavy. I could not. That 220 was at the point where I was just not feeling comfortable. It was 220 when we showed up here.
Yeah, exactly. I remember. You ate all that good food. Had some good food.
I shaved off 10 pounds real quick.
Yeah.
And then slowly lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting at 190.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drag it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm
totally.
I'm just not consistent. I don't have a consistent meal plan going up. I've
Just
got
right now.
some of it written down.
Yeah.
I'm like half there, but
Yeah.
but
And you moved back to kind of strength workout after the bodybuilding, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I completed my year of bodybuilding,
Right.
and then I was like, I still really like doing this gymnastics work, this
Right.
calisthenics work. That's what I would rather spend my time on, I think.
Right.
So I moved back towards doing that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Because now I felt like I had the base.
Right. Exactly.
So of course one of the big parts of that is the rings here.
Yes, you got the prop right here.
You've got some experience with that
That's
particular
right.
device.
We used to go and do these together quite a bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, no, they're great. They're fun. And we were doing a bunch of cool movements. We were doing like basic push-ups and pulls and stuff like that. But we were also doing skins on them.
And ring
lower
planks.
body, lower back. What is it called?
Which one?
The back hold at the end. The one where you hold position.
Oh, yeah. German hang. you
German
call that.
hang, yeah. It's really, really tough strength moves, but super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of very beginning of the back lever progression.
Yeah, exactly.
And I actually, so I've had a couple. Have you been injured?
Not as.
Like because you do have injuries, but those aren't really workout related.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, do you have any moments where you remember like accidentally like doing something to your?
Yeah, I remember in particular when I started doing the push-ups a lot, my shoulders. I felt stuff in my shoulders.
Right.
And I was doing a ton of push-ups and pulls. And it was just at the close to the beginning when I was still getting used to doing that much movement. And your body hasn't quite caught up to what you're actually doing yet.
Well, certainly some sort of pre-existing injury there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then I just needed to stretch it out properly, and now they've been feeling a lot better.
Yeah, you've been doing yoga and stuff as well.
Doing yoga and stuff. Yeah, I found like what you recommended when I started is like you need to kind of do at least like once or twice a week stretch every single part of your body out. And that's been really helpful because yoga helps with that, and also I've got tip from you, I got a resistance band and I stretch out my shoulders that way, so that really helps.
Do some light work.
Yeah, do some tai chi. Tai chi is good for the shoulders and
some movements to enjoy your tai chi.
That's right. Exactly. And you've been doing like a bunch of mobility work too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple injuries over my time. My first one that I remember most vividly, I was doing a reverse curl.
Yeah.
So normal curl, reverse curl.
Right.
Knuckles pointing towards the sky.
Yeah.
And I was doing it with too much weight, and something went wrong, and there was some sort of nerve damage somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And that took that whole left arm out of commission for weeks.
Yeah.
and that was a real warning sign for me. And after that, I slowed things down.
Yeah.
I relaxed a lot. And this was all the way back when I was just messing around doing random different
Right,
stuff.
right.
And undoubtedly that played a factor in it as well. Over the years, I've had a couple small injuries. The most recent two, and the one I guess the biggest one is of course the ankle,
Right.
which is sports related.
Yeah.
So I was dunking on a 9-foot net.
Yeah,
It came down. It rolled all the way to the
Yeah, man.
That's the danger of sports, buddy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You've seen people get injured.
Oh yeah, especially trying to do a dunk. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it can really mess you up.
So that's my biggest injury by far.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years since that. The ankle's doing way better than before. My first year progress was quite slow.
Right.
And last year I think was really quite quick.
And you do exercises for it and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I do all sorts of stuff, and I try to just keep moving on it.
Yep.
I've got it wrapped right now.
Right, nice.
I think part of the reason I was slow for the first year was because I didn't have it in the wraps enough.
Right, right.
Once I felt like I could walk around a bit in it,
Yeah.
I took the wraps off, and I think that delayed my progress.
Right.
Because it put more strain through the connective tissue.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, that's been getting way better. But over sort of, I guess it was after Christmas. I've been back in the last year was pretty messed up. So we didn't manage to do the most amount of working out over the last year.
Yeah.
There was that big gap in the middle, I think.
Yeah.
You recall. Partly because they closed the parks due to
Yeah,
the coronavirus.
exactly.
The whole summer and stuff was really messed up.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of funky stuff lately.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. It was hard to get out there.
Yeah. Is there anything you remember from last year?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I went and went back in the summer in particular and started working at Evergreen again. And I wasn't really working out at that point. I was sweating a ton. And I was biking to and from work, but that was basically all I could handle because it was so hot outside. I wasn't out there trying to, do build up strength, and I wasn't even thinking about bodybuilding at that point. I honestly didn't like the way I felt, like when you're burning that. I felt like when you're not eating properly, you're burning calories. You're exercising, but I was also drinking back then. I was also, other stuff was going on, and
totally.
definitely I felt like I was putting, and just the sun, being outside in that heat with a mask on now, I was feeling it. It didn't feel that good. Yeah.
It's really hard to deal with heat. It takes some time.
Yeah, exactly. And then with them, in particular, like, I think the mask added a new dimension to it because I used to work outside, do a lot of landscaping, but you never had to wear a mask or anything like that. You could just breathe normally. But being outside doing the plant work in a store where you had to constantly have a mask on was just nasty. It was just disgusting.
This is really hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So that kind of turns you off that sort of
definitely
thing at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think like a lot of people who do that physical labor, especially when it's really hot outside and they're working really long days, they don't take care of their bodies properly.
Yeah, totally.
Because they're so tired at the end of the day.
Totally.
They don't stretch out. They don't
do that basic sort of movement work.
Exactly. So that's something I didn't do properly. Like I'd stretch out occasionally, but nowhere near enough when I was doing like 8-hour, 10-hour days in the summer. And that's something I just. Now actually doing it, you notice a huge difference just in terms of how your body feels, when you actually take care of the different components of it properly.
Your joints kind of respond.
Exactly. You don't feel like a gorilla every single day. You get out of bed,
Yeah. You can roll your shoulders. It's
amazing. You can actually roll your shoulders, exactly.
So I had been injury free for a really long time apart from the ankle.
Right.
And there'd been this niggling little thing in my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure what it was, and I was hoping that I was just kind of doing the right thing.
Totally.
It seemed like it was getting better. But I had just kind of a rushed workout.
Yeah.
And I noticed that it flared up both here and
Right.
also something new over what seems to be the left tricep. It felt sort of like in the elbow.
I see.
But now I think it's tricep related.
Right.
And that was, I guess, just before Christmas. It was cold. It was near Christmas.
Right.
Before or after. I'm pretty sure it was before. And so after that, I had to sort of reevaluate what I was doing.
Right.
I had to bring stuff back to basics.
Right.
And I had to do actual work, like you're talking about. I had to
Yeah.
do my stretching, and
Yeah.
I had to do my stuff, and I had to be like, part of the problem was the workout went too fast. Part of the problem was I'm not warming up properly.
Right. Yeah.
It's always stuff. I feel like, my instinct, especially when something like this happens, is to go and do a bunch of research.
Yeah.
But it's almost always stuff especially at this point.
Yeah, especially if you've been doing it for some years now,
Yeah, it's just like, I should have been, but I'm not.
Yeah, totally.
And now both of those feel fine.
Nice.
And part of that is because I'm working very gently back into those ranges of motion.
Absolutely.
And trying to make sure. I think the thing that I think got hurt up here is the supraspinatus, which is this muscle that runs kind of from your shoulder towards your neck.
Okay.
Which lines up exactly with everything I was experiencing.
Right.
And is apparently very commonly damaged. And it doesn't hurt anymore, and the tricep doesn't hurt anymore.
Definitely.
But that means that right now, the biggest hit for me, and you maybe experienced something like this, was it took away a lot of my motivation.
Yeah.
So were there times for you where you feel like you've just lost the
absolutely
ability to get out there?
Like, one of the things was definitely, and one of the things is like when you're, in particular, I remember when my shoulder got injured doing the bodybuilding stuff. It really sucked because you have to take a pause, and it hurts to do the movement. You know, it really hurts to do the movement, so you need to stop. And it's not a good hurt. It's not the. it's a sharp muscle spasm versus
a soft one,
a soft muscle strain, and that shoulder injury particularly stopped me for a couple weeks, and I had to kind of just take time and go back out and then slowly go back out there and do it again
and reevaluate.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
No, totally.
Yeah,
it sucks, and it was the same thing for me. You take that hit, and then I spent a lot of time sort of trying to figure out what to do, and it was just like,
definitely
just take it slowly, bring it back. Still winter right now.
Yeah.
I decided to move my workout indoors.
Yeah.
I decided to go back to just some old basic stuff.
Nice.
And these days I'm really only doing 3 movements 3 times a week.
Yeah, man.
As I continue to enjoy that.
Yeah, man.
I'll add back in more abdominal work and some leg work. But right now I'm using this big guy.
Yeah, man. Get some.
I'm doing bicep curls.
Nice.
I'm doing push-ups. I've always been terrible at push-ups. Now it's time to try and get better at that.
Get better at that. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You're certainly better at push-ups than me.
Yeah, but I've also just, my routine involves like a lot of push-ups. So I feel like I get more practice at them.
You're doing a lot of push-ups.
Yeah. But that's fun. But I'm getting, you do get better at push-ups the more you do them. Like,
it's crazy.
Which is really fun. And then you start to change up the progressions of them. I'm doing like the diamond push-ups on the bars now.
Nice, tricep push-ups.
Tricep push-ups, exactly. Which I, couldn't do that many before. So it's fun. It's like when you pay attention to grows, So if you pay attention to push-ups,
totally
your ability to do those. Another fun movement, because I think you were better at, or are better at pulls. You got some pull strength. Those I struggled with. As well, but just I've been doing a lot of pulls, and those have been improving as well, which has been really fun to see, because it used to be really hard for me, and then it's still difficult. It's still not like as easy. It's not an easy movement for me, but it is. You do it enough, and it gets more comfortable and stuff like that. You get more comfortable at it.
Totally. No, it's really nice because you just feel like you're getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the thing that really I always come back to working out is. You just do it, and you get better.
Yep.
And you try not to go too fast and hurt yourself.
No, exactly.
And if you avoid hurting yourself, and you do the proper work around the fun strength work, then you see yourself get better.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just nice to have things like that in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes other things may not be going so hot, but you're still getting better at it.
At working out.
And being stronger, and
Definitely.
And there's points where you're picking up grocery bags or walking around the store or something, and you just like you notice somebody else struggling maybe.
Yeah, and you're just exactly. Like, exactly, man.
Put 10 more tins of tomatoes.
Yeah, put some more cheese in mine. I got this, bro.
And that feels good.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So now I got 3 things going on.
Yeah.
I'm doing the bicep curls. I'm doing some tricep pull downs with an isometric hold at the end for 10 seconds. Or just a hold. Don't need to be too fancy with it. To get the triceps sort of, we're firing together again. And then, of course, the push-ups, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
And that's not a full body workout. That is arms.
Yeah, that's okay.
Arms and chest. At a certain point, I got to figure out how to do rows inside.
Yeah.
That would be a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Then apart from that, all I would want to do is I have you enjoy my abdominal set, I believe, that alternate one between the
the tuck ups.
That's it.
The tuck ups, yeah.
The tuck ups and the hollow body
and
hold.
the hollow body holds. Yeah, it's good.
So that I really like that abdominal set.
Yeah, it's a fun set.
I'm gonna put that back in. And then the last thing is just doing legs work.
Yeah, doing some squats and stuff.
I'm the major reason I'm not doing leg work is because I am still, just cautious of the ankle.
Yeah, totally.
And strength work isn't the best for it, but it also isn't the worst for it.
No,
so,
exactly.
Definitely something I can put in.
For sure.
So what are you doing right now, buddy? What's your
I'm doing
routine?
I'm building back. I'm easing back into it. I took a week off a week and a bit off when we were quarantining, so I did other stuff. So I'm just easing back into the routine now. My goal is to once again do the full bodies, but right now I've just been doing the arms. As I get back into it, I've been doing the arms and the push and pull section of it, and the pull-up section of it.
Yep.
And then each, kind of this week, I'm going to be introducing the arch ups and then the tricep dips as well, and just get consistent at doing those, and then finally adding the squats and the tuck-ups and hollow body holds probably next week, just to kind of get back into it.
Yeah, for smart. Yeah, just...
Exactly.
Take it in a way that lets you...
Definitely. I think my favorite movement is... one of my favorite movements, because it makes you feel like a superhero, is the arch ups. So getting on the parallel bars and, you do a dip down and then come back up with your legs kind of splayed behind you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you sort of bend the front half of your body down over the bar with your legs catching you from behind, and then you bend it all the way back up.
Exactly. It's a great movement. Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels really strong.
Exactly.
And hard.
It's hard, It's hard once you do... It's hard after you get like 50 and you feel it. Or even like, even like 30 or, different... You can do it different sets. But you were doing... At one point, you were doing sets of 15 reps on those. That was hard.
It was tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
They can make you feel pretty ill.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta be careful.
You gotta be tight on those abdominals and not eat too much food.
I threw up once, so that was another bodybuilding bingo slot.
Yeah, there you are. There, you got it.
Fortunately, it was at night. No one was around, so that was good. But yeah, so let's see. I guess I guess we should do our, are you ready to ask our final question?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd talk about from your workout experience?
I can't think of anything right now.
No.
But how about you? Anything last thing you want to mention before we do our final?
No, I think we covered it pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess just enjoying it is a really big part.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people who are really motivated and they can set their goals really well.
Yeah.
Actually, so there is one last little bit.
Oh, yeah.
There's people who are really motivated and they can set goals really well and they have excellent discipline. And that's a really, really valuable thing to have in your life. But if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then your discipline's only going to last so long as your goals last.
Right.
at a certain point, if you've accomplished all the goals that you set for yourself,
Right.
your discipline doesn't kick in anymore.
Right.
You just go and do something else with your life.
Exactly.
If you enjoy working out, it becomes a part of your life.
Right.
And for me, one of my huge projects overall for the last 2.5 years or so at this point has just been generating discipline and becoming more disciplined.
Absolutely.
And so it's been interesting for me to see, from coming from being a not very disciplined person to a much more disciplined person, but working out throughout that entire period and for years before that.
Right.
It's really interesting to me to see how having a better level of discipline has changed the way that I interact with working out.
Absolutely.
And I think the working out has also helped me generate
that discipline for sure.
Because if you get out there, because it's a reward for being disciplined.
Yeah.
You get out there, you do the work, you feel the change.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you can be disciplined at, and there isn't like a clear bonus.
Yeah.
You can be disciplined and you can read a book a week for 2 months. At the end of those 2 months, you've read 8 books.
Right.
Your chances that your reading speed has like gotten way quicker, or the chance that you have like some really easy measurable way of being all like, oh look, I'm so much better. Whereas if you do 2 months worth of pull-ups, you get out of that bar and you're damn better at pull-ups than you were when you started.
Exactly.
There's no cutting hairs on that one.
Right.
That the way discipline interacts with working out, the way enjoyment works, I think those are like 2 really valuable parts. And a lot of time when I'm talking to people, I see them emphasize discipline, and I see them not emphasize enjoyment.
No,
as
it's
much.
true. It's true. I was just talking to someone I saw at the bar, an old friend who I hadn't seen in years, and he happened to go to the workout, the outdoor gym that I go to at the same time. So we synchronized, and he was talking about how, when he started out, he was trying to go to the gym 5 days a week and trying to do a bunch of stuff that he thought he had to do that he didn't enjoy. And as soon as he cut out the stuff he didn't like, he actually started to go and do things properly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. And I don't think trainers or people who are kind of gatekeepers necessarily emphasize that enough.
You want to have
fun. It's fun. You want to have fun.
It's fun.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. What are your goals? What are your goals?
Definitely. So I want to finish up this year of bodybuilding, or this 8 months left of bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be exciting, just to see where I've already seen some changes. I want to see where my body is, and then after that, kind of reevaluate where I want to go. Like I'm thinking maybe going back to strength training and maybe even picking up a martial arts again.
Yeah.
Totally. Just trying to concentrate on finishing out the year of bodybuilding and making sure I get the most out of it.
One thing at a time.
Yeah. How about you, man? Where do you want to kind of go with working out in the future?
Well, I want to make sure I don't hurt myself again.
Yes.
I'm happy with this sort of base of muscle I have.
Yeah.
I've been trying to lose weight for at least a month or so now. And I know I'm not doing all the things I need to do. But it's also the middle of winter and it's hard to go outside.
It's hard to... Exactly.
I don't really enjoy doing cardio inside.
Right.
So I'm having some trouble figuring that side of things out. But my immediate goal is to just get a regular schedule going again with the workout. And then so that's sort of step 0.
Right.
And then step 1 is just to shave off this extra fat that I've got.
Right.
And see what weight I end up at.
Yeah, exactly.
See what I look like, see how I feel.
Definitely.
And then from there, I should have a pretty high muscle to bone ratio compared to where I was before.
Right.
And that should give me a higher ceiling in terms of the gymnastic stuff that I really like to do.
Right, exactly.
So the whole goal is eventually just to move back into that stuff.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
And to get under a bar and do some cool stuff.
Do some cool stuff again.
And just get the rings really going again.
Yeah, man.
You guys have done me very well so far.
That's right.
Right now you're resting a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay. They'll be back again.
While this guy takes over for a little bit. All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. That was a good one. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Good chat now, yeah. make sure it's actually recorded.